take the podium with a great sense of gratitude on multiple fronts. Starting, Commissioner, with gratitude for professionals at Grace that cleared I-64 to allow many of us to make our way here. So, yes, sir. Can't be showing up. Yes. Thank you, Natalie, for the kind words. Thank you all for joining us here this morning. Special thanks to Laura and members of the Kentucky Multidisciplinary Commission on Child Sexual Abuse. It is a mouthful. It sounds bureaucratic. It sounds like one of those entities in state government that are a sinecure somewhere that are gathering doves. That's not what this commission does. That's not what we ask these commissioners to do. It's to stare into the darkness. It includes my colleagues, Ramsey Gallo and Erica Paskey from the Office of the Attorney General, two of our advisors who have worked to come together to publish this. We're going to talk about this. This is something that matters impactfully in serving our kids. The Kentucky Model Protocol for local multidisciplinary teams, for our 15 teams across this Commonwealth in every area development district. At the end of the day, it's a long title as well, but it is a blueprint. It's a modernized blueprint for child sexual abuse cases, for mitigating the harm that these children have faced and will face. It's about collaborating. It's about tearing down silos. It's about eliminating bureaucracy where we can. And it is about minimizing secondary trauma to these young child victims when we can. It's only fitting if we're doing this, we're together during National Crime Victims' Rights Week. What better way to serve these young people than taking this substantive step? The blueprint will be used, we are hearing Frank from the course, that the blueprint will be used in multidisciplinary teams in all 15 of our child advocacy centers, from the mountains to the Jackson Purchase, used by many of the people that are here today, from law enforcement, prosecutors, social work, child advocates, pediatricians, medical professionals. What comes out of this work is life-changing. It's life-changing in ending the harm. It's life-changing and ultimately our goal of incapacitating the offenders that are harming these children. I look around the room and I pause at what I'll say next, because we have young people in the room. But here's the reality of this darkness we face. The cases that our colleagues take at our child advocacy centers, that darkness that I talk about, that is rape, that is incest, sodomy, it's human trafficking involving commercial sexual activity, it is production of CSAM, child sexual abuse material. This is the worst of the worst that we face in law enforcement. Every day, I'm great with courageous men and women. Those that are taking an oath, law enforcement, those prosecutors, those medical professionals, those advocates who choose to stare into this darkness. Now, if there's a statistic that you take from our time today, it's a chilling one. And Natalie touched on it, but I want to footstop this for a moment. It's the fact that from July 2024 to July 2025, local teams at these 15 child advocacy centers here in the Commonwealth reviewed almost 7,800 new cases, 7,700 new cases of child sexual abuse. This is a 29% increase year over year. 29% increase from the previous year. I stand here as your Attorney General, but as a dad, this hurts my heart. As a dad, that's a lot of little boys and little girls who have faced something that they will face again and again in their dreams the rest of their lives. It's unacceptable. As the Attorney General, we're going to keep swinging, collaborating, we're going to keep tearing down those silos with these great professionals in front of me. But at these events, you learn, Commissioner, Chief, and Sheriff, you learn early on when you're standing at a podium like this, oftentimes the people that do the real work are the behind the camera, or they're seated in the audience, and I'm looking at the people that do this real work. And I want you to know how grateful I am. This isn't the first time the commission has published this model protocol, this blueprint, but it's the first update in 5 years. This is a lot of work. The commission members felt like we needed to add best practices as we continue to improve. This work is a moving target. We're constantly trying to look nationally, collaborating outside of the Commonwealth, which brings me outside of the Commonwealth. I see my dear friend Luana Redcorn, who with Ray Larson, legendary Commonwealth's attorney and colleague, she and Mr. Larson, they brought the Child Advocacy Center program here to our Commonwealth. They tried out of the Commonwealth. They saw how siloed we were. They saw the secondary trauma that we were exposing kids to by having them engage in these interviews in police stations and in emergency departments, unlike the amazing facility at the University of Kentucky. And they brought that model here. And Kentucky now, we're so used to being on the bottom of lists that we want to be at the top of in the Commonwealth. We are. I am incredibly proud as a chief law enforcement officer that Kentucky really is on the cutting edge of how we're continually trying to improve. No matter how critical the information can be in a book like this, the result of so much great effort, this just can't be a document that sits on a shelf and gathers dust. It's not going to help any victims unless it choose. I will refer you, for example, to our friends in the media, pages 16 through 19. I'm not going to summarize this. There are still kids in the ring. But what we're talking about is decisional matrices and flow charts. And if X, we do Y in terms of harm to our kids. How to do that more efficiently, effectively. How do you speed the process up? Who to call, when to call. So I would encourage members of the media and those at home to take a look at this new section, pages 16 through 19. It's horrifying in what it describes, but it also is there to speed this process to, again, mitigate harm to our kids, to ensure that there is a coordinated response in removing efficiently, effectively. We're not just introducing this today for the sake of a press conference, the sake of a press release. It's to get this in the field. This is more than a few sheets of paper. We're implementing this in trainings all across the Commonwealth. Looking forward to supporting those trainings, looking at some of those that'll be conducting those, the follow-through, how we execute this, how we deploy this. It's great that we talk about it and celebrate it and honor the people that invested in it, but what's important is how we execute on it, how we utilize it, far from podiums like this, on the worst days of the lives of some of these young people, again, trying to mitigate that harm.